What's up, guys? It's me, Doc, from SampleKings.com. I want to thank a lot of you people for actually watching our videos and helping us to grow the channel. But currently, we are realizing that we need to have more members, as YouTube tells us. In order to do this, I want to implore you to take the time to hit the subscribe button. So please, subscribe. It does help.
In this lesson, we're going to set up just two things on this mix. We've got a track going on. We've got a setup here for the output for the track itself. And then we have an output here for the master output. Here's how the track sounds. Try to keep it low, just make sure the sounds are there. Then I put this on. Then I add this. And I can bring the level up to here. Level's real low now. Whoa. We'll do that in this lesson. We'll pull up some plugins and still got to set up a little setup for you to have a template. Yo, what's up, guys? Doc, SampleKings.com. So yeah, I was just doing a lesson with a guy. Of course, we do lessons, doing SampleKings.com. You see that. And I was doing a lesson going over this idea of what he was making. That it's always good to have a setup, sort of like when you're trying to make music and then you want to actually test it, play it in the car, play it around someplace, whatever. It's always good to have a standard setup to roll with your gear so that when you're making up your beats or your production, you can get a nice quality out of what you're doing. Like, for example, I got this beat here, for example. I'll play this up. Some simple stuff, right? So I want to check my bass drum out. Now you'll notice here, I guess we're over 9 somewhere down there. All right. Yeah. I'll bring this down somewhat too. Right about there. I don't want my bass drum to be too high. Just high enough. I'm just trying to get some levels here along with this. So I got a little reverb here for this too as well. And it's heading over to this system. So what's happening here is that all these drum sounds are going to here. It says track 01J. And so while they get there, I got processes on here. So I'll turn this off. I'll turn stuff off. That's how it sounds with nothing on it. A different sound. First thing I got here is a parametric EQ. Giving that bass a little unfair. See that there? That's 1.3. And here, it's around 100 hertz. I wouldn't mind going further down to this point. I like that there. I got a filter here. The air filter's up on here. I'll add this in. A little bit of filter on it, very little. Low pass 4. All right, a little bit of overdrive here. I can add more. Too much. Okay, next, we got a verb here. It lifts everything up here. Lifts up a little bit. A little delay. Now I'll put a track back. Yeah. Now we got other sounds here, of course, obviously, You see them right here as they pop up. I don't want that too big. Keep it just right underneath the track. I want all this stuff to go way out in front. So you see I pan them into different sections of my mix. I don't want my mix to be overshadowed left or right, but I pan these sounds so they're in the mix and it's still coming at you, but they're not dead center. What is dead center, as you'll see right here, is my kick drum and my snare drum right here. I'll click right here as dead center. I might do this too. You can't really hear it, but the bass drum center, and I got the snare like this a little bit. I want the bass drum, the bass line to control the center position. Just a thing I like to do. And it's pretty cool, actually. Everything else here is going to be somewhere where it should be at. And I'll tee this up. So we got two things going on here. Let's play some louder. So it's a little bit underneath it. Like a ghost in there. And so I'm trying to balance the sounds out so they get this kind of unique feel to them. Where they're hitting hard enough, and they're all going through this one group right over here, which is where this track goes to. So that means all the pads. And you'll see that here also on the mixing console. You come up to here, these are your pads. We'll stop this for a second. And you'll see here, I can test my sounds out. What I like, what I don't like. And some are EQ'd. Some I feel is going to stay where they are. Got more stuff down here. Got like tons of stuff here. Here's that bass. It's underneath. See, it's not really a pounding bass. The bass drum takes care of the bottom end. This gives me the bass end. Now, if I want to boost this somewhat, I'd come to here. You know, I want to get a boost. I'll go here. Let's see. I want to look for this air enhancer. I'll get this. I come in like this. You know, I want some bass. So I got some refresh bass. Ooh. That refreshed a whole bunch for me right there. That's probably too loud. But you know something? We're going to check it out. But it has more of that bass to it. There. Put it down to here. Nice. And it's in the mix. The other tracks done on here. Different sounds in here. But I'm trying to make sure nothing dominates more than the kick and snare. And that bass too. About 13 dB right there. So I got these sounds piled in here. Sounds pretty good. Now I got my kick and snare doing their job. And next, we have our master output right here. I'm making it very simple. I got that reverb going for that snare. I don't know, two things, just two things. I'm using EQ and then a compressor. Here's the EQ coming in now. Out. I'll turn on now. It's subtle, but you hear every sound right here. And we're not loud here. Look here, this point right here, I'm not even loud at all. I'm right down here, right? I can even pull it down some if I want to. That's about -9 dB, just cracking over that. Now, next I'm gonna pull up a compressor. This is a classic one here. I'm gonna pull up a Teletronics, and this is an LA2A. It's right in there, man. It's compressing it. And I can feel that bass drum in there. Now this thing is kind of like booming hard. Oh yeah. I like that now. I'm gonna adjust your mix. Now, this is not loud. This is 0 dB here. This is 0 dB here. If I want to, I can bring it up. Now, it's just really touching there at 0 every now and then. I can put a lender on here and get some more headroom in here. But it's right where I want it. Let's give me that sound I want to feel up in there. So I'll bring it down here just to get an idea what it sounds like. But that's very simple. Now I would just have this stuff on here. I'll keep this on here. I'll keep that on here. I'll make a template. this template I use when I want to use a template. I pull the template up, make my beat, and just adjust the track out here. As you can see here, the 01J, and I'll use these two plugins on my master output. And I get the sound I want, kind of, just to go for it. If I want to go further, I can pull some other plugins up. I may want to widen this mix up. I'll say let's make it a little bit wider. I can do something here and probably into dynamics. There's something I can actually pull off here also, where I can increase the width of this actual audio file. And let's go back to here. And I believe it's in modulations. Not too sure where this thing is at. Here it is, right there. I'm gonna apply this to this whole thing right here. I'll pull this up. This is a simple thing. I'm gonna make the mix a little bit wider. So let's hear it without it. We'll turn this off here. Good. Now wider. Just subtle. I could stretch it more, but don't need it. That's tight. And you can feel it wider, but it's right there in the groove. I'm spraying it out a little bit more. Now if I turn this stuff off, you barely hear that siren, right? When I put this on, you're now hearing everything because the EQ is allowing it to get the proper EQ for the entire mix. Simple things you can do to make your mix have that sound, and also use it constantly so you can always adjust it, get a better setting for your output, because this is really where you want to have your sound be like something that you want to keep every time you do a track, that you got some major setup you can use and then build from there. Always set up a template if you can.